All right, all right, all right. Let's get this thing started, which it's one of these buttons, isn't it? I think it's this one. That one gets us started. Isn't that it? Right? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is September 5th, 2024. And we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? Hello, hello. It's good to be back. Let me bring on the chat room. They're right over here somewhere. Why didn't that move? It's supposed to move for that. Yeah, you were supposed to move for that transition. How you doing there, chat? We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Great to see folks popping in here. Hello, hello. Let me start off saying hello to C Sharp Titan. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening in Australia. I'm doing well, thank you. Napalm Codes. Hello, Richard's watching on YouTube. Good to see you. C Sharp Titan says, hope my family's doing well. We'll get back to that in just a minute. How you doing there, Wise Otter with the big wave? Hello, hello, right there. Picky, how you doing there? Good to see you. There's a name I haven't seen in a little bit. It's great to see you in chat. Svekos is going to be lurking as we're nearing the end of the workday in Belgium. That's great. You know, I like to talk a little bit more and describe things so that we can talk about what's going on. Codebase Alpha, how you doing there? They're a member of the Live Coders. It is a new hat. Give me just a second. We'll talk about that one as well. Expanded Cuber, hello, hello. Mine's gone dark. Oh, look, it's already starting to light up because feeling the warmth of my hand. How you doing there, Expanded Cuber? Coding with Carlos with a big wave. Hello. PC Nerd with the greetings. How you doing there? Right, it's one of these Rubik's cubes that is right. It's heat sensitive, so it lights up. It warms up to your touch, and then you can start to see the colors. So it's kind of fun to play when it can disappear on you. A little bit better in the winter months to play with that, because in the summer months, when it gets warm in my office here, you can literally see the colors just sitting there. Like it'll be sitting here on my desk, and you can see all the colors. Like, okay, that's a thing. The Kubuntu laptop. Oh yeah, we'll talk more about that. Hey there, Twist Tech and Music. How you doing over there on YouTube? Hello. It'd be fun to solve only once. It's funny when you give it to somebody who isn't familiar with it, and they look at it and they're like, what do I do? Like, oh, yeah. Dr. Padawan, hello. Guy Creative, thank you. You were just chatting about me? I hope it wasn't. I hope it was all good. I'll start off with that comment up there about new hat. Yes, it is a new hat. So let's get it training. Get that training over there on the big Azure cloud out there. No, I did not leave Microsoft. No. Had a bad experience with Microsoft over the last 2 weeks. First time managing to catch the stream. You're on vacation this week. Well, thank you for letting me be a part of your holiday week. Hope you're having a fantastic time away from the office, away from all the pressures of work. I don't do that. I don't do vacation. So the hat, well, we'll start with that comment. Our friend Junie Von Ash, for my birthday last week, sent me this hat from Breckenridge, Colorado. Let me see if I can just tweak the color there to make that a little bit easier to see, because it's, right, go to the filters and color correction, and I don't know, contrast gonna help there? No. Brightness? Too much brightness. A little bit easier to see there. There you go. Breckenridge, it says, from Breckenridge, Colorado. Someplace that she has family. She was vacationing and picked up this hat to send over. Kind of cool looking. Happy to wear that. Of course, I have a post office box that's listed. If you're watching on Twitch, it's just below on the wall. It's in the About section my post office box is listed there. Certainly Dev sent me a postcard. It's on my other table over there. You're welcome to send me postcards. You're welcome to send me hats, whatever you'd like, and I will certainly show that off on stream and share it, and thank you profusely if you'd like to send me something. So just make sure it's nothing out of the ordinary. Anyways, so I did have a family member in hospital. It was a pretty standard procedure. I was helping somebody with a colonoscopy yesterday, so they need to be driven home and driven over there and all that stuff. So took care of all of that. It was Tuesday we did that. No big deal, and everything came back just fine. It's great to see that. I'm due for a colonoscopy, and I need to go in and get that done. And I always joke that you're going to get a Roto-Rooter coupon when you leave the place. For those of you outside the States, Roto-Rooter is a company that cleans out the sewer lines to your home. So yeah, you're gonna get a coupon to a sewage management company when you get done with your colonoscopy. That's the joke. The prep is the worst. So can't you do them at home now? I've heard that. I literally live around the corner from the hospital, so it's like, yeah, we're just gonna go over there and do that. There we go. The hat images are loaded up in custom vision AI. I'm gonna start getting these tuned. So that was one thing that happened during the little break here. No big deal, right? No big deal. But no, I did not leave Microsoft. I mentioned it on a previous stream that I had a little bit of a bad couple weeks with folks at work, and these things happen. I was quite transparent with the chat that I had a bad review. And what's interesting, I'll share this with chat because I quite frankly have nothing to hide. I have nothing to protect or I keep things pretty transparent here. Folks from work went back to not just my boss, but his boss, and were saying, what the heck? Fritz works so hard, I don't understand. And yeah. And then finally some of those folks actually watched the stream and quite literally came back to me with quotes from the stream. Okay. I know this. I know that there are people that can grab clips of these videos and can send that back to the folks at work, and that's if that's what folks would like to do instead of actually talking to me. Okay. I find it very very difficult to work with people who don't want to actually talk to me about their concerns, their questions, their problems, but instead would like to just watch me and go complain to my boss. Makes it very difficult to work with folks that don't actually want to collaborate, but would instead like to go and complain to management or voice concerns to management instead of actually talking to me. So that's something that I've got to figure out how to deal with, because apparently I'm mean. And now I've got folks at work that are saying, we don't feel comfortable working with Fritz. Okay? I have no way to fix that. I have no way to get back and apologize and try to make good with folks if you don't actually reach out and talk to me. You might find out I'm a pretty nice guy. So, like, this is difficult for me to deal with when folks who have a concern, who have a question, who want to. Evidently, they don't think I'm a good resource, and they're trying to sabotage me. Evidently, they're trying to get rid of me, these folks. And that just means, how am I supposed to work with you? How am I supposed to do something to improve our community, improve our products, if you don't actually want to talk to me, you don't actually want to collaborate with me, but instead you'd rather complain about me? So that's a little problem that I have to deal with at Microsoft. So, let me see. Let's go back through chat here. Your experience with colonoscopies was the worst, says Ninja Ola. They stopped after 50 minutes because they couldn't get past the second swing. What? Second swing? But the prep you can do completely at home, yes. We're not going to get into the Raspberry Pi today, but I do want to talk about it. Hello, Walladoo. Good to see you in Morocco. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You literally quit during a review, says Guy Creative. Your first bad one. Terrible supervisor. My concern is, and I've been vocal about this, and here we go. I'll start some stream beats here in the background. My concern is, I've got folks giving negative feedback about me, and I didn't hear anything about it until my review. These people are not talking to me. These people are not sending me a message. These people are not trying to say, hey, how can I help? What can we do to improve things? And I literally have people that, for lack of a better term, are trying to sabotage me. And I'm trying to... So, it's difficult. I could see that guy. Yep. Did I stream activity as part of my Microsoft job, or did it have an impact, positive or negative? Neither. So, some of my stream activity is part of the job. A lot of what I do while I'm live streaming here on this channel is me learning things, preparing things, putting things together that help with my job. When you see me streaming on the Visual Studio channel on Twitch or on the .NET channel on YouTube, that absolutely is part of my job. So, yep, life is a roller coaster. Absolutely. Very passive aggressive. I agree, Rob. Yep. Like, and now because I don't know who is actively saying negative things about me, and now I've got a sense of distrust about all of my colleagues because I don't know who to trust. I don't know who is working with. So now it's created a very negative attitude in me towards everybody that I work with. Like, now I've got to be paranoid with everybody that I talk to. That's hard. That puts a lot of stress and double thinking in everything I say to everybody that I work with, and it's created exactly the opposite effect. Like, yeah, it's yeah. Thank you, Napalm. That's very kind. I can't say, guy. I can't say. Hey, Surly Dev, I was just mentioning you sent me a postcard. Hey, Crows. Yep. That's right. So, yours wasn't bad prep, terrible, whatever. A nurse that you went to high school with. Yeah. Right. There's a thing to be said for. I don't want to know the folks who are doing that type of medical procedure, and we're talking specifically about a colonoscopy. I've had an endoscopy. I didn't know those folks either, and even then, it's like, Yeah, I'm glad I don't remember what happened after they put they put a a wedge in your mouth that has a slot in it for the camera to go in, and once they put that in the mouth, I was out. The sedative took hold and I was gone. So oh, I didn't want to do it that way. I'm sorry. The auto mod kicked in there. My bad. A little bit, yes. Robert Steffen has a Telerik quest using RadGrid, adding columns dynamically. How could I also add a new row with a checkbox for each column? Which RadGrid are you talking about? Are you talking about Ajax? Are you talking about Blazor? Are you talking about WPF? Give me some details there. You can absolutely do that. You need a reference to the grid, and you're already adding columns dynamically, so you already have that reference. Adding rows is easy to do. That checkbox, there is a checkbox column that is available that you can, I think there's checkbox column that you can set up, and you bind it to a Boolean property, and it should work though. Hey, good afternoon, Robert. So, PC Nerd's been on the nasty end of office politics before. There. Sir Nick, hello to you in Poland. Welcome. I did get it. Yeah, I hadn't checked the post office box since almost July, but I try to get out there every week, every Saturday to check the box. But yeah, it had been a couple weeks since I had been out there, and it was great to see that you sent me a postcard. Thank you, Surly Dev. So, and the custom vision is training for this new hat we got from our friend, that Junie Von Esch. Someone said to the manager they had an issue, but we never knew who it was. Like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate some amount of anonymity, saying, hey, you know, I got a problem with. But there's also, we're adults. And if you need a little bit of grace from somebody, if you don't feel that you can collaborate with someone, like, reach out and talk to them. Like, I'm a nice guy. I do a lot of charity work. I do a lot of outreach to help folks, and for folks to be talking bad about me behind my back, it's like, and even worse that it doesn't come out until review time. It's like, how am I supposed to do anything about this if once a year I hear about that? Like, so, that's toxic positivity, Rabassi, and that's not my style. Web forms. Oh man, Robert, you are doing a throwback there. I haven't touched that product in almost 12 years. You should be able to add rows dynamically because the web forms RadGrid in Telerik is wired up to some sort of collection. When you update and add new items to that collection, they should appear in the grid. You should be able to do that. Because it's bound, it should automatically update and add new rows. There's an ad coming up in 5 minutes here on Twitch. You had people backstab you at a previous job, says C# Titan. Stop sharing things with your peers. See, that's an return on that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue sharing and doing things the way that I would, but now I'm going to be double clutching on every message, right? Double pumping, double guessing, double thinking every message, every person that I interact with. Is this the person who doesn't like me? I don't know. Is this the person that I shouldn't be trusting? I don't know. Should I be sharing information about my family with them? I don't know. So there are some things that I'm not going to talk about at work anymore because I don't know if I can trust these people. And there are other folks, there are other things that I'm going to be a whole lot more transparent about at work because I don't know if I can trust these people. And I'm going to wait and the work stuff, we're going to see where it pops up. So I don't it's not going to identify this yet. But it did just finish the training. Wow, it did just finish. Look at that. Look at that. So we'll get that published and we'll do the reset hat. I feel like I'm getting better with the Digma Defy keyboard. Still not quite there yet. No, I'm not going to go that far, Crapteen, and I'm not going to say that it's slander. That's a little over the top. No, thank you, C# Titan. VBN Web Forms is making a comeback. Come on now, guy. Come on now. Do I have regular one-to-ones with my line manager? Sure do. Hey, Smirking Squiggly.
_Squiggly just resubscribed for 17 months. Hey, Bad Air, say do you remember? Bad Air, coding in September.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's not the right command. Thank you so much. And really appreciate the support for the channel. And
now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
I've got to get some of that data loaded on some of these new hats so that it can find it and present it. Also get it on the website. We should take a stream or two and do updates on that and the bot and some other things. Right, we could update the bot to .NET 9 and a whole bunch of stuff. So, let's see here. Yeah, okay. It's just the normal notifications on Twitch because there's a bunch of other things that mention me when I start stream. So that's those are the kinds of things that I deal with at work, and it, quite frankly, it turns around and creates a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on me. Things that, quite frankly, it's hey,
Better
Sean,
Call
hello.
just resubscribed for 6 months.
Thank you so
Starting a
much.
Masters in Advanced Computer Science at the end of the month. Excited
Awesome.
and nervous for it, ha ha.
I bet. Thank you so much for that. I need to set up the charity and get the donation shipped out here. Thank you so much for that. Johan with the resub. Look at that, 68 months.
Jahab just resubscribed for 68 months.
Thank you so much. 68 months. Much appreciate that. Is it rude to stream other streams? You just started streaming yesterday, so you're streaming other devs while I work on closed source. No, it's not rude to stream other. Well, hang on. To stream other. I think it's rude to stream other people's streams on your stream. Thank you for the follow. It's not rude to watch a produced video on your stream, but to effectively syndicate and show and talk about somebody else's stream while they're live streaming on your stream, no. Yeah, it's better to raid them. I agree, Ninja Ola. Hey, Billy, hello. So it creates, yeah, this has created a hostile environment in my mind, and quite frankly, that's not what I signed up for. And it's not something that I do. So, and I want to reach out and help those folks that don't feel comfortable talking to me or feel intimidated. Like, what's the irony is the number of folks that reached out to me and said, "What can I do to help?" Like, now I feel like a detective playing Clue, where I've got a checklist of here's the folks who have reached out and said, "What can I do to help?" Here's the folks who have not, and working through this list, and it's like, why am I doing this? Why can't we just be civil and talk to each other? And what have I done wrong that I can correct? I want to improve. I know I'm not perfect. I want to make myself a better person. I want to improve. I want a chance to apologize and make right something that somebody doesn't feel right about. So, let's see. All right. On Twitch, there's an ad running right now. We've got Custom Vision AI is up to date with all the things. Oh, no. Hide weather. Because for some reason, hey, let's show the weather in Firefox for everybody to see. Thanks so much for doxing me. What's next? Where did I want to go? What? I have like. Let me clean those up. So I've got a few ideas here. Next week, I'm at the Dev Intersection Conference in Las Vegas. Are you going to Las Vegas? Will I see you at the big Las Vegas MGM Grand Casino? Because I think it's going to be a fantastic week to be in Las Vegas. Here's the deal. There's actually a 2-for-1 deal right now. You're going to the beach next week? Oh man, jealous. Buy one ticket, get another free. 2 folks get in for the price of 1. It's going to be a fantastic event. We're really looking forward to it. I'm teaching a Blazor workshop. I've got 2 sessions about Blazor, and I've got a session that I'm co-presenting with that Maddie Montequilla. You know that Maddie Montequilla. You know who I'm talking about. She's that amazing program manager who's worked on .NET Maui, is working on .NET Aspire now. Yeah, her. So I had this idea because we get a bunch of questions about .NET Aspire. Some of them are the typical, is it production ready? Really? Gosh, can I use this with Windows 95? Really? So on and so forth. But some of the questions that I get are, hey, I'd like to use this locally. I don't want to use it with Azure. I'd like to be able to work with Kubernetes. And what I was thinking about setting up, and I'm not going to do it here on stream. I've got a bunch that I need to do to prepare it. I was thinking about getting the Raspberry Pi cluster, the Raspberry Pi tower that we worked on some time ago. Oh my gosh, Adrian. Hello. Just raided the channel with 28 viewers. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Let me give it the pre-roll is turned off. How you doing there, Raiders? My name is Jeff Fritz. I'm a live coder, writes code. I work for Microsoft. We talk about .NET and C# technologies. Thank you so much for the raid. You were working on learning some C#. Couldn't think of anyone better to raid. Thank you, Adrian. Really appreciate that. Welcome in, Raiders. We're about to dive in and talk about some C# code, do a little bit of coding on a website that we've been working on here, but we're talking about .NET Aspire here. Hey, how you doing there, Jay? Thank you. Appreciate that. Like, it was a real kick in the teeth that the issues that we had over the last 2 weeks because because it was a surprise. So, Stony Eagle, hello. How are you doing there? Enhan Codes, hello. Grug Brain Dev with a big hello. Good to see you. Welcome in. It's great to see Raiders joining us over here on Twitch. So, .NET Aspire is what we were talking about, and I get a bunch of questions about .NET Aspire. And to our Raiders, I want to make sure. Do you know what I'm talking about when I refer to .NET Aspire? That's the new cloud-native framework set of tools that you can use to build applications that gives you this cool dashboard, automatically sets up open telemetry endpoints for you, does a little bit of reliability and durability connections with HTTP client, sets those up for you. It'll also do things like set up service discovery between the various components of your application system. It's free, Grug. It's free. Free and open source. It's a developer tool first, and the output of those things, you can use another tool to deploy and run it wherever you'd like. So if you just have a website that connects to a database, if you put .NET Aspire around just that website database capability, you'll get free telemetry being logged. All the traces, all the statistics, the metrics about your connections and interactions with your database on the dashboard. You're not even doing a distributed application. You're just doing that typical N-tier application, and it just gives you additional information free. It'll make your developer workflow better. Really great stuff. And it all open source, github.com/.net/aspire. Okay? It's going somewhat slow. Is getting familiar with the ASP.NET MVC and .NET today. Adrian, reach out to me and let me know where you might be struggling. Happy to try and help out offline or maybe online next time, and see what we can do to get you moving a little bit faster on that, get a little bit more comfortable with some of those things that might be a little bit tricky to work through. So if you get surprised in your review, that's right, Bald Bearded Builder. I kind of agree. The only thing .NET Aspire doesn't do for you yet is microwave you a bag of popcorn. Let's get back to that. There's IoT things there that we could do. That's right, BSD guy. Free. It works everywhere. And that's kind of what I want to show in this next sample. Let me catch up with chat here. Is it Ritter Rasmus? Currently in class working on a web API Blazor project, and my videos have helped a lot. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Right here from Ritter Rasmus. And go even further than the project asked for. It's a blast to learn about. I may have some questions about it too, if you have maybe time to answer questions at some point. The AMA is on. Happy to answer questions. And of course, you can ask me questions in the Discord, and I am happy to follow up. Manoj asks, is it possible to have your React app along with C# API and backend? Oh, yes. There are demos in... There are demos on learn.microsoft.com that do exactly that, Manoj. Yes, indeed. Code samples look very familiar to using their other default host builders. Exactly, Grug. We want to make .NET Aspire something that's real easy to onboard with if you've already used these other patterns that we've been rolling out more. There was a Reddit thread earlier this morning I might be interested in. It was all about how this person did native performance GPU work entirely in C#. Very, Lou, can you share that? What I want to do with .NET Aspire, and I love the chat around it. So we built and we managed the Aspirify.net website on this channel, and it's built with .NET Aspire. It's deployed and running on Azure using .NET Aspire technologies in the deployment process. Once it's in Azure, it's a series of containers. It's a series of containers on top of a series of tubes. Anyways, so it's out there, it's running. You can see it. That's Blazor running Aspirify.net, okay? Anybody who tells you Blazor is slow is lying to you, okay? That's Blazor running Aspirify.net. We're going to get in and we're going to work on some of that code in a little bit here. What I want to do for my demo next week with that Maddie Montequilla, right? She's program manager on .NET Aspire. I'm going to take my Raspberry Pi cluster. So it's 6 Raspberry Pis that I have mounted as a little bit of a tower configuration. And I'm going to deploy Aspirify.net to run on the Raspberry Pis. All local database running on on the Raspberry Pi tower. Everything running inside of the little Kubernetes cluster, completely disconnected from the internet, but local and running and showing off exactly how you can run, build, and deploy your .NET Aspire application system. Now, a .NET Aspire application system can be more than just .NET. It can be Node, it can be Python, it can be any kind of executable, anything that runs in a container. In the case of Aspirify, we've got a couple .NET projects in there. We've got a Postgres database, and we've got Azure Storage running in there as part of that. So, lots of options there that we can tinker with and show, all running on a little Raspberry Pi cluster and running quickly as part of the demo. So that's what I'm working on for next week. All of our work right now is using container apps in Azure. Maybe Aspire can make that easier. Grug, it can. It can. When we get into the code here, let me show you how you can do some of that. So, there are trucks in those tubes. Wonka man. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Yes. There are trucks in those tubes. What mode is Aspirify.net running? The most of the public website that you're looking at is server-side render, right? Is SSR. If you were logged in as an admin, it is interactive server at that point. However, I'm going to be adding some WebAssembly components to it. If somebody tells you Blazor WebAssembly is big, fat, and slow, take a look at the C# in the cards website. C#. No. Spelled it wrong. C# in the cards.com. There we go. Go to that website. There is a WebAssembly component just below the top of the screen, just below the fold, that has it's a pager that shows you it's a pager and a collection of other episodes in the series that you can scroll through. That is WebAssembly, and I defy you to find that running slower than acceptable. So, storage is a pain unless you have a NAS. So I have a external hard drive plugged in that has a half terabyte of storage that I'm going to push over and use as the storage on that. It didn't cut it too much. It'll be fast enough for this. For this demo, it'll be fast enough. Probably going to check out the Discord. One big problem right now is having web API using JOT stuff. The issuer address having to be defined in an environment variable feels clunky. There should be some sort of service discovery thing. That's exactly what's happening with .NET Aspire, and where Keycloak comes in to help with that. Take a look at the eShop demo for .NET Aspire. Take a look at that, and they show how to wire up Keycloak. I'm working on that for the Big Bad Blog series. There's so much I have to write for Big Bad Blog. And you'll see how to set that up and pass that through as service discovery. Quite frankly, though, if you're doing that type of JOT configuration with something like Azure Entra ID, that type of configuration, you can get out of Key Vault, store it over there, and have it passed over, and that will be injected automatically into your application. With a link to the Reddit. .NET is way more performant than people give it credit for. We'll come back to that in just a second. Ran into so many problems with it. You think it tried to do a local Docker registry? The local Docker registry ran great for me. So I had the local Docker registry, going back to the Clip Talk days. I had my Raspberry Pi tower, 6 Raspberry Pis. I had a control Raspberry Pi on there, and the other 5, I had 2 of them set up to fetch data from the list of clips that were being processed on ClipTalk, and the other 3 were doing transcription, and it was deploying and sharing and load balancing across the 5 Raspberry Pis in the cluster. The problem that I ran into it was reading and writing so much data that I burned out the SD chips. That I kept having to rebuild the SD chips because they were being overused writing so much data to disk. So, but the Docker registry I kept over on the external drive, and it ran great. OpenID with Entra on the whole has been a bit clunky. So OpenID with Entra, yes, is clunky, but you can wire right up to Entra and just use that directly and use the principles and things on it. So it's not OpenID, right? You're using all of Entra's things in there, and it should run quickly, should run much better. You've been playing a lot with Aspire lately, says Mythin. Getting a strange Blazor WASM targeting issue when using Blazor WASM with Aspire. Are you trying to run it without the server component? With .NET 8, I would not try to run Blazor WebAssembly on a static website anymore. It's not worth it. Run it because when you run Blazor WebAssembly with a web server, you get the pre-rendering on the first serve, and it runs so much faster. And you get a perceived significant performance boost. So, tell me a little bit more about what you have there, Mythin. You've had nothing with problems with that a few years ago. Sold off your pies. Wow. Okay. General thread echoes your sentiments, the Reddit thread. As a physics engine developer, you love using C# for that stuff. Totally agree. And Andrew Arnott right there. Yeah. Oh, geez. Excuse me for a second. It seems that my nose has started bleeding. Be right back. Okay, that was a surprise. That was definitely a surprise. Was not... Yeah, was not expecting that. Yeah, I think we're alright. So... no, give me 1 second here. Hang on here. All right. Let's do this again. Where was I? Your boss doesn't want you to integrate Aspire. Try to explain to him that Aspire allows you to incorporate telemetry. How can you convince him? Why not? What are their arguments against it? Like, why? Is it just I don't like it? Is it just here's the thing, .NET Aspire doesn't change your project. Use all the same stuff that's in your project. Right? None of your code changes beyond add service defaults or change to use the Aspire wrapped client. Like, the rest of your code's the same. So, you kept one? Cool. Yep, it stopped quick. I don't know what happened. That all of a sudden, like, I smelled blood and I wiped my nose and, oh my gosh, what the heck was that? Myth is looking to develop a Blazor front end with an API. The API should also expose endpoints for a mobile app. Okay. What would be the best setup for this? So when you build with Blazor, with a Blazor framework, you're running on top of ASP.NET Core, so it's easy to just add extra controllers to do that. If you want, like, I would keep everything together in the same project to start, but by using controllers or minimal APIs that are sitting inside of a class file, it's easy to lift those up and move them to another project if you want to be able to scale out the number of instances of that API you have. Real easy to just pick that up and move it when you're ready to. Mind Maker Kit. Okay. What's time consuming, Craptine? Oh, it's what managers say? No, it's not time consuming. So the other thing that .NET Aspire does is it significantly reduces ramp-up time for new folks, because instead of having to go and understand, well, here's where the database is, and here's where the service bus is, and this and that and the other things that you need to connect to, it's all defined and sitting in that app host file. So you have one entry point that it downloads, configures, and ramps up and starts everything, and it's all hard code, not hard coded, but it's all in code and configured for you. So front page 98 does that for you. There you go, BSD. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we want to say. It's front page 98. It's simply, why didn't that play? I see why it didn't play. Try that again. It's simply, there we go. Something happens, and every now and again, mute kicks in. I think it's the other keyboard has a mute key on it, and it keeps getting triggered. Is that MIT Solek? Hello? Do I think it's hard to get into IT? I don't think it's... Compared to other industries, other spaces, I don't think it's hard to get into the information technology field. Just like other fields, other professions, you need to study, you need to learn a little bit of the craft. I mean, anybody can pick up a hammer and swing a hammer, but to know how to actually build something, you've got to study and learn some of the standards, some of the things, and learn how to be a proper craftsman, a proper carpenter. If you want to build furniture, you have to study and learn some of the things that go into what's involved in building furniture, right? Some of the patterns that are out there. Same thing with IT. Any kind of a trade that you're going to go into. Thank you, Grug. That's the term I was thinking of. Any kind of trade you're going to go into, you need to learn a little bit of the basics. If you're going to build tables and chairs, you need to learn a little bit of physics so that you understand how much weight you can put on a table leg or a chair leg so that you can build that. They're not going to tell you it's physics, but it's physics that you're learning. It is. Right? Learning how much weight bearing can be done on those things. You're going to work on building a house, same thing. You got to learn about how to manage the weight bearing, the load bearing columns, and points of the house, so that, and how you put studs in the walls so that it bears the weight of the ceiling and things above it. You need to learn those things. Same thing about IT. Same thing. You need to learn a little bit about how operating system works. You need to learn a little bit about how some of those things go together and how the processor and memory works. You don't have to learn the low-level stuff about processor and memory anymore, but it'll help you when you understand and start building some software, if you're going to get into software. If you're going to get into operations, learning how some of those things fit together, how the network works, how to scale things in the cloud, will help you and go a long way. And you need to learn that to get into IT. You can learn that learn the basics in as short as a week. In as short as 24 hours, you can probably get some of the basics down if you're aggressive and you want to learn it. To get proficient and get hireable, probably going to take you at least a couple months. So, telemetry and observability are what big orgs need to do when things are going wrong, and why? Absolutely. Telemetry and observability are, right? My friend Richard Campbell says that performance is like air, and telemetry and observability is the same way. You don't know you need it until you don't have it. Like, when you don't have air, I breathe air. I need to have air. When you don't have it, oh gosh. When you don't have telemetry, oh boy. Gosh, you wish you had telemetry now. So it's when you need it that you go, So it's the folks that are experienced and have built big solutions that go and look and say, we need telemetry at the beginning of new projects. It is easier getting into IT than becoming a lawyer or a doctor. True, crap team, true. Didn't give you an explanation, told me to remove it. Maybe that's not comfortable with what data is transmitted. That's not somebody that's not somebody who's going to be easy to collaborate with. Like, going through and making technical decisions just because they say so, it's going to make it real hard to go to the next version of tool X. It's going to make it real hard to add on new cloud feature Y, to support new mobile device Z. Sorry. Somebody like that is going to be very difficult to work with long term. Boss who wants to make the data access layer using an OCX. Oh my gosh. Aspire does simplify getting into cloud native. And cloud native doesn't necessarily mean you're deploying to Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud, right? And that's what this demo that I'm putting together with a Raspberry Pi tower is going to do. You can't sell that to customers. It's not for customers. It's to make your job easier, faster, better as a developer, and help you do the right things by default. One of the things that's coming as part of that you probably don't even see coming is Aspire is going to help you to be secure by default. And some of the things it already does is there's no password involved in interacting between services. It uses service principals to connect and work directly through them. Directly between them. You don't know any other modern career that could pay six figures without college? Yes. OnlyFans will do that. Yes. Cisco. Oh my gosh. There's certification from back in the day. Learned on the job because your IT department was inept. I did most of my IT programming learning on the job, yes. Grug uses Elastic and Kibana for all your telemetry. There you go. And you can do that with .NET Aspire. You can do that. But you need to be able, right, the trick with using Elastic and Kibana is they're sitting there receiving and mining that data and making it available for you to search. How do you get the stuff from your application into Elastic? That sync process by default isn't set up in most applications. What happens with .NET Aspire, one of the things that's added is this service defaults project that will do that export for you automatically and give you by default logging and telemetry being sent to, it might be Elastic, it might be Prometheus, and you're presenting it with Grafana. It might be Datadog, it might be SolarWinds, it might be Azure Monitor. It's your choice. But getting it plumbed and wired up properly to all the things, that's one of the things that .NET Aspire does.
Marcus
with the
Voice Coder
resub.
just resubscribed for 28 months.
Thank you so much. 28 months with us. Splunk, yep, absolutely. So configuring and getting that export wired up to your application, right? This gives you a standard way to do this so that it hooks up, delivers, and all of your application, distributed application, works properly. ETL can be complex, yes. No, there was, I think there still is. In SQL Server, there was data transformation services, DTS. Those evolved. BizTalk does that. Logic Apps do that. There's a bunch of services that do that now. We're on an ad for the next 30 seconds, 20 seconds here. Yeah, it's an integration platform. And ETL is, right, it does a lot of integration stuff. ETL is just one part of what an integration platform can do. So there's so many more things that it can do. Power Platform does a lot of that stuff for you. Logic Apps does a lot of that stuff for you. So IFTTT isn't ETL per se, but on the fly, transform and send data. Clipper and Aspire. Oh my gosh. There's a discussion from some time going back. Let me tell you. So, okay. Let's scroll through here. I think we're good to get to dive in here a little bit. Let's take a look at this Reddit bit that was this Reddit article that was shared here. .NET is way more performant than people give it credit for, and this is posted by AptaCode. It's Tim. He's a software engineer, .NET enthusiast, and a creative coder. Hi, Tim. Thank you for sharing. Recently started a new hobby project building a chess engine in .NET. Cool. Okay. The overwhelming majority of engines written in C++ or Rust for that low-level stuff, I guess. Yeah, they need to optimize every bit of performance. I'm a huge .NET shill. That's what this person is writing. I am fully acknowledged, and I'm a .NET shill. Like, they pay me to do that. So I wanted to build one in C#, thinking it would be just a toy, but to my surprise, I've been able to get comparative performance to engines written in lower-level languages while still reaping the rewards of .NET's highly productive ecosystem.
You can do it!
Yes. Some of the key learning experiences include utilizing stack allocation and spans to minimize heap allocation and remove the burden of the garbage collector. So this person is tweaking and tuning for every bit of performance. I will tell you that game companies that build some of your favorite games, they do this type of tuning with .NET for your games. I'll continue. Hardware intrinsics, AVX2, BMI1, BMI2, POP-CNT, SSE to accelerate certain operators. They're really down low on this. Using vectors to take advantage of SIMD. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The extensive use of bitwise operations, often completely removing the need for branching. Okay. Passing certain parameters by ref. Yes. Light use of unsafe pointers and tight loops. Okay. That's not super pleased with this one. I wouldn't be either. You're a little bit out on the edge there. Unsafe pointers is, yeah, I'd avoid that. Struct layout attribute to avoid unnecessary padding. You're really squeezing for memory there. Like, You're building a chess engine and you're squeezing for memory, optimizing for performance with some of these processor instructions. I get it, but you're trying to squeeze and push memory there. I'd be curious to see how much more that benefits you versus the default memory handling that it ships with, that .NET performs. Most optimizations, they're all excessively micro optimizations. They are. But when I next need to write highly optimized code, I won't be so quick to dismiss .NET. I'm curious if they're doing ahead of time compilation here. And here's the code. I blunder, a strong .NET UCI chess engine. Yep, .NET run. And specify starting positions. Interesting. Okay. Right, there's the starting positions of each of the pieces on the chessboard. Output an ASCII diagram. Nice. So this all runs at the command line. Okay. That's kind of cool. This would be fun to read more into and learn how this works. Even wrote unit tests for this. Look at this. Right? Look at that. That's kind of cool. And the engine itself. Using unsigned integers. Still using, right, I'm assuming piece is a class, or is that a struct? I bet they did it as a struct. Okay, I open piece. Oh, it's a byte. It's an enum. Okay. Okay. So it's an enum that's a byte, and they're really squeezing on memory of that. And just managing the game state. Apply a move. Interesting, it's an unsigned integer move. Interesting. Okay. There was a link to play online. Play it here. Sure, level 1 AI. Look at that. That's kind of cool. White's turn, sure. Let's go here. And sure, we'll go out here and we'll go out here. That's a complete blunder. Let's see if it takes it. It didn't take it. Interesting that it didn't take it, right? Amazing how fast it is. Right? Like, no, let's go over here. It's not. Yeah, there's. Now it's coming to attack the queen. Right. This could be fun. Right, and I'm not thinking much here at all. Where should we go? Oh, it's getting aggressive now. Yeah, look at this. If I, yeah, do that. Mm-hmm. Can't take that night just yet. Oh, this is gonna be mate right there. Yep. You'd have already conceded, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty good. So using SIMD in C# is legitimately easier than C++. Yeah. Programmers frequently talk about performance wrong. There's some level of resource time budget you have, be it a request duration, blah, blah, blah. What matters between two languages is how fast you can get comfortable perf metric without bugs, and that's why C# rocks. The amount of safety that's built into C# and .NET is incredible. It's incredible. So, right, not just the null checks, the nullability checks that we have now, but the analyzers and the reports back that, hey, you might be getting into some issues here. Definitely, the type safety and the optimizations and the analyzers that you have helping you out in .NET will make you much more productive and drive down the number of bugs that you could potentially create. .NET wasn't always free to develop in or even easy to run. You know that you are 10 years removed when you say that. Like, this person here is saying you are 10 years old. .NET should have taken over the entire machine learning and AI story instead of Python. PyTorch was released in September 2016, 2 months after .NET Core 1.0. Yeah. No, this person is wrong. We were very much committed to .NET Core. It was not an experiment. It was the new direction we were going. SciPy, NumPy have been around since 2001 and 2005. Yeah. Python and the work that Guido van Rossum has been doing on Python has been around for almost 30 years. Easily 30 years. Engineers don't just pick up a new language and ecosystem immediately. I think folks who work on JavaScript frameworks have something to say about that. .NET missed out on being the ecosystem of choice because it simply wasn't available. This I completely agree with. This is something that, quite frankly, you're not going to let me zoom in there. It is something that folks completely missed. So, yeah. They couldn't choose .NET for stuff because they couldn't get it. So, but pathetic state of the software industry. Tell me more. Large projects are built in retrograde Oracle languages like Java, and the rest are built with useless joke to. No, this person is a moron here. Microsoft is not a charity. True. .NET Framework was a driver to sell Windows and Windows Server licenses. No, it wasn't. Completely disagree. When .NET Framework came out in 2000-2001, let's remember, 98% of the world was Windows. 98%. That's why the U.S. government tried to break up Microsoft. That's why the U.S. government had the monopoly lawsuit against Microsoft. You're forgetting what happened 25 years ago here, friend. They didn't need to sell Windows and Windows Server because everybody was buying it. It was to simplify the development. Make it easier to move forward and do more with all of that stuff. Because Visual Basic 6 was running up against the end of its lifetime here and being shoehorned into other things that it didn't need to be in. .NET trails the Google Android Learn platform, not enough docs and learning videos. What? But not enough? I have a recording that I'm going to be doing here in a little bit on teaching .NET Aspire and delivering the Let's Learn .NET Aspire video series. So that's coming up. We're going to get that published in the next few weeks. Naive realities of open source having just woken up from being we developed .NET for Windows and other people develop .NET for free on other platforms. No, you are completely wrong. You are completely wrong. The majority of folks who are working on .NET aren't using Windows machines. And they're not building for Windows. They're building for containers. They're building for the cloud. These people are wrong. That's right. The debugger is commercial and it's not open source. That's right. It's a commercial tool. Yeah. But you are welcome to use it freely as part of Visual Studio Code. What I'm saying is there are better reasons than Python is more popular. Yeah. No. This person is completely wrong. Dynamic languages felt more convenient to a non-software developer. Dynamic languages feel like you're lazy when you're programming. Yeah, and bugs show up at runtime when it's someone else's problem. So, right, we know that when you identify bugs earlier in the development process, it costs the company less to fix them. So, what's the title of this thread? The title of this thread is "This Guy's a Moron." That's what it is. There you go. You had to pay for Enterprise if you wanted. That's right. Yep, it was always free. Yep. Express does count. Express doesn't count. Okay, sure. Yeah. Windows license is such a huge stretch that it's irrelevant. I love these people. I really do. Come on now. Every computer you buy that does not have glowing fruit on the side of it comes with Windows. Period. Every computer. This guy is a moron, should be a synonym for Reddit at this point. Totally agree. Let's scroll down here and see if we can find some other choice. I've been programming for almost a decade now, but couldn't do anything novel or without the help of some SDK or API. I wish I could write something from scratch. Okay. There's a delay. It's taking time to show my move. No. Not what I saw at all there. My .NET project was fast enough, but took a lot of resources. As a test, I rewrote the most critical part in Go, and it took less than half the CPU. Tell me more about what you built here. You don't have to optimize .NET to get good performance. We've shown that here. I'm curious what this person built. That working with Go was half the CPU and 10 times less RAM. You can't measure memory usage of .NET because it uses a garbage collector. It will use the RAM resources that are available. And when it feels pressure, then it releases it. When somebody says that it uses too much RAM, prove it. Because over time, it will garbage collect and use less RAM. That's how this works. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. Adopt the task model and async await syntax from JavaScript. What? .NET had async await 5 years before JavaScript. That's right. Concurrently running code existed earlier, but the keywords and the ease of use for end-of-pipeline developers comes from the .NET world. Yep. It doesn't matter where the thing comes from, but don't say that .NET is innovative, when clearly the things you're referring to came from. So, very cool. Thank you for sharing. Let me catch up on some of the messages over there in chat. You saw someone rewrote Wolfenstein 3D in C# and Blazor. Oh, yeah. There's folks that have Doom running in Blazor. Having a game that runs on the command line is intriguing. Oh, yeah. That is. It is very intriguing. The only real scenario you've seen where C# has not been fast enough is reading a very busy serial port. Span of T helps with that. Yep, absolutely, because you get rid of the buffer. Yeah, there you go. There's the link to the Wolfenstein. As a single developer writing C, definitely replicate the billions of dollars of engineering effort Microsoft has poured into C# all on your own, right? Right? DLL Hell is one of the productivity optimizations that .NET helped to eliminate. Remember, we used to have to install a Visual Basic runtime every time you installed a VB6 application. You see this now when you install a game and it installs the C# runtime, or it installs one of the Xbox SDKs as it deploys. Like, that's an artifact from 30 years ago that it still does, because game developers want to protect and make sure they maintain their version of the DLLs and libraries that their stuff works on. Google got a ton of code labs. Okay. Dissecting every detail of developing Android apps. You do know that developing Android apps is one framework, one object model for one device and one processor memory set, right? .NET is several languages, many frameworks. Let's go back over here. Many frameworks to be able to build web applications, console applications, Windows native applications, Apple native applications for iPhone and Android, cloud applications, IoT-based applications. It's a lot bigger scope. And the question is, where do folks want to go first? And getting a little bit of everything to start with, it's pretty good. Digging in deeper, that's where we have telemetry that tells us where folks want to learn more. So, Eddie says they just jumped on the Aspire train. It's been amazing thus far. Still need to explore CI/CD pipeline. .NET Aspire has been terrific, and we're going to get in and do some more coding here. Your Charles Petzold book, Programming Windows 3, comes up on 1990. Oh, man. So, 34 years old. Yeah. I haven't met Charles Petzold. Express definitely counts. Well, they don't call it Express anymore. They call it Community Edition. That's the term that we use now. Because Express kind of conveyed that there was it was less capable than other versions. Community is quite literally the exact same features as the Professional Edition. It's just a different licensing. So, RAM allocated, not actually used. Totally. Rewrites tend to be more performant because of the benefit of hindsight. Yes. And, right, the rewrite is also going to take at least as much time as the first write. Right? So, and that's assuming that you have the same team that wrote the initial, so that they can go through and apply their learnings. If you don't have the same team of developers that have that tribal knowledge of what happened, right? There's an oral history that gets communicated between developers on a team of here's why we chose this, here's why we didn't choose this, and while some of that might be documented, that oral communication, right, that verbal communication of here's why these things happened, and being able to talk through and show that to the new team members, the younger team members that haven't spent as much time on a project, doesn't get, right, without those folks, whoever is taking over and doing the rewrite is going to make those same mistakes again that the initial team made. Yeah, how to get your blood pressure going in the morning. Microsoft SQL just eats your RAM allocation, says Crapteen. I would say that about any database because they want to optimize and load as much data into memory as possible because you will get faster interactions. You'll get faster responses. So whether it's Microsoft SQL or it's Postgres or it's MySQL or it's Oracle, those indexes that you create on your tables, it wants to load them into memory as much as possible so that your queries run much, much faster because they run faster against the data loaded into memory. So, yeah, they're going to grab as much memory as they can. It's not just Microsoft SQL that does that. You sometimes have memory leaks in .NET. It's possible to create memory leaks in .NET. Totally possible. The analyzers and compiler should warn you if you're writing code that's going to get into a memory leak type of situation. And there are analyzer tools that will report back if you are in a memory leak situation. The GC, the garbage collector, should help you with that, but it's not a panacea. It's not going to solve everything. Your uncle works for Oracle, says Alu the Crow, and he says that .NET is bad, so we only use Java. I see. Love the sarcasm there. Hey, officially insane. Whoever tried C# coming from Java would never go back. I kind of agree with you, Crapteen. They'd go to Kotlin. Pre-roll ads are shut off for the next hour. Fantastic. Petzold wrote a Xamarin Forms book. I have that on my shelf. I do have the Petzold Xamarin Forms book. A short PDF on microservices? I don't know what you're trying to get at here, Marataya. Hey, Shy Guy. Hello. Thanks to your rewriting an engine in assembly, I can rewrite my rewrites in 100 speed. Shut up, Alu. Shut up. Does anyone know if there's any progress on Aspire and Azure Functions? Yes, Eddie. That is one of the core feature sets that they want to deliver for .NET 9 as part of .NET Conf coming up in November. Gosh, we might know somebody working on .NET Conf coming up November 12, 13, and 14, right? Do I have those dates right? Right? Yeah, November 12, 13, and 14. Call for content is open now. You can see more about the event at .NETconf.net. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you tune in for the event. All virtual, all online. We've got a 70-plus sessions, including content from some of your favorite speakers, some of your favorite community speakers, and the third day that's 24 hours straight. Got to check it out. It's going to be amazing. But Azure Functions are absolutely targeted for inclusion in the next .NET Aspire major release coming with .NET 7. .NET 7 coming with .NET 9. Ooh. So many free tools versus Visual Studio Community, VS Code, even Jupyter. Yep. Even GitHub is a Microsoft free tool when you think about it. You don't have to reboot to recover the RAM lost. Jeez. You had a big slow memory leak years ago. The devs back then copy-pasted stupidly dumb code from some documentation. Yeah, that happens. Visual J# and J++, yeah. Take some annual training days to watch .NET Conf. That's not a bad idea. Eddie's been using the Visual Studio Community Edition for years and years. Want to switch to VS Code for the IDE, but so stuck in your old ways. Nothing wrong with that. I bounce back and forth between Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio. There's things that I like better in Visual Studio Code, notably the source control diff views I really like in Visual Studio Code compared to Visual Studio. But there are so many things that Visual Studio does so well for us. Grug used to not like functions, but then you saw setting up a cron job and just tagging a function with an attribute. Yeah, that's not bad. There's challenges and struggles that I have with Azure Functions. We did so much with Azure Functions for the ClipTalk application. Migrating and managing versions of Azure Functions are where you're going to run into challenges. It's a fantastic platform. The consumption capabilities and management of Azure Functions are really, really good. It's migrating versions, and they've made some significant changes to how Azure Functions run, so that when you move from version to version, it is a rewrite event with Azure Functions. Doesn't matter what framework you're using. That's hard to swallow as a developer who's trying to manage small application. So they're doing things that are going to improve that experience. They've revisited the architecture there. We should see more about that over the next few months. I do not like Emacs and Vim. Now, Shy Guy's been teaching themselves with C# with Rider. Main dev machine is a Mac, and it's sad they're killing off Visual Studio. Visual Studio for Mac, not many people used. Not many people used. And quite frankly, they've been quite clear on this. The work that was being involved to maintain Visual Studio for Mac as a business decision was cut off because more folks were using Visual Studio Code and preferred Visual Studio Code. So they reinvested in adding those features to Visual Studio Code. So Rider's a fantastic tool. That's great. It's good to have competition in the space. So, but anybody who says that Rider is, folks, back up, scratch that. There are folks who get in and start talking about how great Rider is, but what folks don't hear and don't understand is Rider is a commercial product also. They make business decisions in how they deliver and make that because folks are paying them for it. Like, it's not all sunshines and rainbows in how they build Rider, because they've got to make business decisions because they got to deliver that and pay the developers that are building it. So if you want to pay nothing, then Visual Studio Community is the best you can get. Yeah, I can buy that. I can agree with that. Visual Studio Code is really good for many folks. Yes, there is a roadmap for .NET 9. Come on now, right? .NET 9 roadmap. There is, yeah, here we go. .NET 9 planning milestone. Ba-ba. So you can take a look. It is on GitHub, because everything about it is on GitHub. There you can see the milestone. You can see they are 38% complete on the things they're working on, but that is the entire shooting match that they're working on. And you are more than welcome to take a look. Actually, that's ASP.NET Core planning. There's a vision statement for .NET 9. Yeah, there we go. You can take a look at that, and that'll help you with a little bit of the high-level ideas of what they're doing for it. Let's see here. You love PyCharm. VS Code is pretty good, but having a curated IDE makes learning easier for now. Yeah. Yeah. VS Code, that requires with C# Dev Kit. Yes, but you don't need C# Dev Kit. You can still get most of the tools free. Visual Studio is free for students as well. Just saying. Impressed with remote debugging in Visual Studio, being able to deploy to a container remotely step through your code. Yeah, it is. Do I know Sophia? Sure do. Yep. I work on the team with Sophia. So, currently use VS Code and have for about 6 years. There you go, Expanded Cuber. You like the JetBrains IDs, but all the ones you'd want to use are paid and can't afford. That's fine. Aren't we students for life? A little bit. You have VS Professional, and the license for it is much cheaper than your license for ReSharper. Good to know. I'm going to dive in here to Aspirify.net. I've been using my Digma keyboard. We're already so far in because we've been having some really great discussions here. I wanted to set up the camera for this, but I feel like it's not something we want to get into. Totally random note, just learned your Microsoft First Startups program. Yeah, that's a thing. Mm-hmm. You want a Visual Studio Linux version? Never happening. The survey that was run years and years ago, folks wanted a text editor, not an IDE on Linux. So Visual Studio Code and its cross-platform capabilities is what was decided. But when you layer onto VS Code the C# Dev Kit, what are the Visual Studio features that you need that it doesn't have? Well, don't think about remote developing in Linux using VS Code. If you want Visual Studio on Linux, like, what is it? What's missing? What are you looking to accomplish that you couldn't do with Visual Studio on Windows with Windows Subsystem for Linux? Because then you've got everything. You've got Visual Studio. You can build and deploy containers on a Linux file system in a Linux operating system and bounce back and forth on that stuff, all on the same box. So you've taken two companies through the Founders Hub. Awesome. Oh yeah, no, Grug, you're pretty close there. The only thing you're using Visual Studio today is WinUI, WinApp SDK, WPF, and XAML stuff. All the other .NET happens in VS Code. Nice. Microsoft Office for Linux, it runs in the browser. Everything from Microsoft Office runs in the browser. So go to office365.com. Done. All right. I want to get back in and work on some of this stuff for Aspirify. We were working on this idea of collections, content collections that you can load up and have an organized, curated collection of content that's being presented on screen. Oh, you know what? I talked about the Raspberry Pi. I didn't talk about the tablet and the Android. Here's the deal. Remember I did Minimal March in March? That's kind of when Minimal March happens, is March. Here's the deal. What is this? Yeah, that's fine. I want to revisit that because I had a fantastic idea over the weekend that I acted on. I was like, we're going to do this. And it's along the same lines as Minimal March. The idea with Minimal March is I want to program with .NET. And I want to use commodity hardware. Now, Raspberry Pi, I disqualify from being commodity because you can't walk into a typical store that is on the street, right? And that you can find pretty much anywhere in the world and get a Raspberry Pi. You can order a Raspberry Pi online. You can get them at maybe a Best Buy if you're lucky, but definitely at a place like a Micro Center or a high-end specialty computer shop. There aren't specialty computer shops in most places around the world. Yeah, Raspberry Pi can be $50 American. You can get the whole Raspberry Pi 400 for $100. Really great device. Love the Raspberry Pi. It's an amazing device to learn with, but you need to go online to get it. You have to know what you're looking for to go get it. But the idea of Minimal March is I want to be challenged to try and do .NET development on something that you don't think we can do .NET development on. So I went to my local Walmart. That's how many of these bad ideas start. I went to my local Walmart. And for $70, I got the ONN 7-inch tablet. Okay? We're going to set up and we're going to do software development on a tablet coming up here. I'm not ready to do it today. We're going to get set up and we're going to do software development on the tablet. We're probably going to do things like code spaces. $70 American. Okay. Has 3 gig of RAM on it. It's a good size display. It's got a nice processor on it. We're not going to be building and running things locally on the tablet, but we're going to use things like GitHub Code Spaces to do development and run outside. But I'm going to wire up the keyboard to this. I'm going to wire up screen mirroring to this, and we're going to use the tablet as our development device so that we can show that you can learn, you can build, you can do some serious development on a tablet and still have a good time. All right? As a professional developer, absolutely, you want professional grade tools, all the high-end toys so that you can do all the things. But when it comes to getting started, when it comes to showing that .NET development can be done anywhere with anything, we're going to go all the way down to a tablet. All right? Just don't stream with it as well? No. And it's a development machine that kids can enjoy. Shy Guy, you're spot on there. Yeah. Right? So this is, it's ONN. It's not even, right, you can see it there. It's the Walmart brand, okay? Dirt cheap little device. I've installed a couple of apps on it just to make sure that it's not completely cheesy and terrible to use here. And runs fine. I've been using Obsidian Notes on it. I've got Trello installed on it. TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, just fine to do Gmail interactions. I'm actually going to take this with me to Las Vegas next week and do some setup work on this. So more coming on that. Probably won't be able to get to it and really get in and do some work on this until October. But this is coming soon, and we're really going to push and learn just how easy it is to take .NET and build with anything, anywhere. All right? Even doing AI things and whatnot. So, fortunately, my Digma keyboard that I have here, I've already tried this. It has Bluetooth on it, so I can connect and use this keyboard.
Aztec Consulting
with the
just
tablet.
resubscribed for
Aztec.
48 months.
48
Hope your
months with
Morgantown
us.
adventure was fun.
It
Happy
was.
to support your work.
Thank you so much. 48 months, 4 years with us. Much appreciate. Yeah, last weekend I was in Morgantown, West Virginia for the big Penn State West Virginia University football game. I have daughters that go to both schools. My older daughter was in the Penn State marching band last year. She can't be in it this year because of class conflict. Younger daughter just started at West Virginia. She's in the West Virginia marching band. She was on TV a couple times during the game. And yeah, it was quite the experience being there. It was my first West Virginia home game that I had been to. I have season tickets. Fantastic event. I will be back in October is the next game that I can be there. Yes, she is in the Pride of West Virginia. She's one of the she's in the color guard, and she was my season tickets are in the lower level. I'm section 122, row 12. When I buy tickets to see a football game, I buy tickets. And so I am in the 12th row, right off the field, in the end zone. And there's a point when the marching band first comes on the field where they make a formation, the big flying WV formation, and then they split up from there and they form another formation. As they split up, she comes marching down right at us and stops on the, I can't remember if it's the 5 or 10 yard line, but is literally facing right at us. So cool. Oh, as a dad, so proud dad vibes. So it was fantastic. The book saga not resolved. And here's the thing. They know it, and they're working to resolve it this week. I'm hoping to have an update from them this week. So, hey, Martin, hello, over there on YouTube. Have a good one there, Robert. The Telerik issue is driving you nuts. Share some sample code on the Discord, and we can take a look. See if we can give you some options there. So, the Desk Pi Rackmate is a great way to add Raspberry Pi and more. Sure. Absolutely. We're gonna have some fun with this. So, all right. Let's head back over here. I don't know what. That's interesting. Okay. Let's head over to the code and let's start talking about doing a little bit more here with Aspirify. You know the Aspirify.net. We've been building, working on this website off and on for the last few months, adding features, doing cool things with .NET Aspire, with .NET 8, and we even started to do an update to .NET 9. The database library, the Postgres library we were using, that's been updated now and is .NET 9 compliant, so we can start working with that. But I'm not ready to go and do the upgrade just yet. We'll come back to that in a little bit. You really need to learn some more Razor. It seems like it's a lot of fun. So, Expanded Cuber, let me tell you. The thing to know about Razor is just start typing @ and write some C# code. Just start typing. When you're ready to pivot back to HTML, just start typing HTML. And it just does it. So, like, here's a good example. Right here. Right? Like, if you do have a thumbnail, right, because the string is not null or empty for the thumbnail. So you do have a thumbnail, right? So we would normally have curly braces here, and I want to pivot back to HTML. Just start typing HTML. And it knows that that's HTML. Like, done. Right? Image, what's the source there? Well, I want to put the thumbnail URI from the article object. Fine. @, here's the C# we're going to dump there. Done. Right? Like, and as soon as I'm done with that C# code, end quote, and continue here, and it knows how to handle that. So when folks say, I want to learn Razor, not Blazor, Razor syntax, sure. Easy to do. Just start typing your C# code, and you'll get the syntax highlighting to help you. The only trick that I need to explain to folks is really the text tag. Because when you write, if I were to type this and I didn't use the text tag here, if we got rid of that, and we just said, well, here's the text, because it doesn't start with a tag inside of that if block, it thinks create article is C#. Right? So that's kind of weird. So you just wrap text that is the first thing you do inside of an if or a for, any of those block level statements. Start it with the keyword text tag. Done. Right? Once you know those basics, some of the Blazor things just kind of come along, and it's like, well, that's easy too. Like, I need a using statement inside my Razor page so that it knows how to reference this thing. Well, just type using and put an @ in front of it. It's a .NET C# command. Just put it up there. Boom, done. It works. Like, okay, I want to inject something from dependency injection. Well, you would normally do that with an inject parameter attribute sitting inside of your C# class. Just put @inject, the type you want, and give it the variable name. Done. Render mode is a new thing that's available starting with Blazor in .NET 8. You just specify the name of the render mode you want. Done. Interactive server for this one. And where you would put an attribute for, hey, I need to authorize on this page, just put @attribute and use your attribute syntax. Like, that command, that's a Blazor thing. But that command, done. Four little commands to learn. Easy. Page is a thing that works in both Razor pages and Blazor that says, hey, here's where this page listens. Done. Thank you, Expanded Cuber. It's what I enjoy, what gives me spoons, right? That's a thing. What what helps me feel better about the tasks that I'm working on is helping other folks who are interested and excited to learn more. And when I see that little bit of magic light up, that folks' eyes light up like, I get it, oh my gosh, that to me is more valuable than the biggest paycheck ever. So good. Let me see here. What's the difference between Razor and Blazor? How do you differentiate them? Okay, Razor is the templating language that's used in ASP.NET MVC and ASP.NET Core MVC. It's used in Razor pages, and it's used in Blazor. Razor by itself, the syntax is used to take in some C#, right? To take in some C# content and render a static HTML, typically static HTML, to deliver to the browser, typically. Blazor is interactive markup. Blazor is typically going to, in this case, we're defining a form that we're interacting with, and we're using input text boxes here. These are Blazor components. Now, you can have Razor components out there also, but these are Blazor components that are interactive, and as they change, they'll raise events and interact with things, and you can wire up to those events, like here, when there's a blur, when you leave the URI field on this, it's going to go look up that URI and try to data bind some of that content about it. So it becomes interactive in that case. And that's the difference between Blazor and Razor. Razor's just a markup language, and there's extensions layered on top of Razor to help make Blazor work. The one thing that confuses Pac-Man Jr. with Blazor is sometimes not having to use @ in components and other times not. Yeah, I totally buy that, and I run into that as well. Parameters for custom components, it gets messy. Yeah, I kind of agree. Kind of agree with you. The @page directive defines the endpoint. That's right. There is no controller with Blazor. So @page in Blazor and Razor pages defines the route that this listens on. Okay. So if I go over to the article, right, if we go over to the article .razor, come on now. No, yeah, that one, article page. There you go. So look at this. Look at that route. How's that gets confusing because routes can also take templates. So this is @page and it's listening on /A, so that I can force it to appear in a certain location. And there's a publication date. Thank you for the follow. And it's going to match a regex where it is 6 digits / and then some slug. We're going to capture this last bit as the variable called slug. And down here in my code, here, there's that slug parameter, right? That slug goes in there. That pub date that is required to be 6 digits will go in here, right? That's the parameter. So those get bound up so that when I do on initialization, go get that article and pass in those arguments. So you can get very complex in your page routing, right? And the other thing that's great about Blazor components is while this is a page, because we added that page, I can also include this and use it as a component inside of another page. It's not a standalone thing, right? That's really cool, right? So, right, let's just screw around for a second here. Let's just tinker here. I can actually drop into, here's my dashboard. right? I can actually say, look, it's right there. It's already suggesting it. There's article page, right? And there's the parameters, pub, date, and slug. I could pass those in hard-coded right here, and everything that was on that article page razor, that's going to be painted as a full page. I can actually embed as a component right here at the bottom of my dashboard. What? It's the same syntax to write a web page as it is to build a component. So there's no barrier to building the two because you use the exact same syntax. If you want to use that page as a component, just put the name of the page in as a tag name, and you're off and running. Really cool stuff. And now that you make that jump when you're building and working with Blazor, yeah, the gears start to go, and it's really, really cool stuff. Hop in the Cloud has shown Blazor to some of the interns, and they were blown away. They love it. Awesome. Welcome to your McNugget repository. Let me see here. There you go, C# Titan, yeah. You don't have to deal with JavaScript anymore, says Shy Guy? No. Great question, Shy Guy. Thank you for asking that. Blazor works with rendering components inside, rendering HTML inside the Chrome of the browser. If you need to reach outside of that HTML that you have rendered, you need to reach into a navigator dot anything. You want to reach into the location information. You want to have it trigger the camera on a phone or a tablet. You want to interact with local storage, right? You want to interact with cookies in the request. You need JavaScript to do that. Those things are what you need. So, and that's right, Andreas. Thank you for sharing that. Blazor, though, has a complete bridge so that you can call JavaScript directly. I show you. I will show you. So here I am back on article page. If I wanted to call some JavaScript on this page, check this out. I can... Oh, Fritz, come on now. Inject. I'm not going to inject the host environment. I'm going to inject the JavaScript runtime. Runtime? No. Time. Come on now. Right? You're not going to give me that. Right? I think it's actually a capital S. Yeah, there it is. Yep, I know. I'm doing the JavaScript thing. So I'm going to just call it JS. And I can go down here somewhere in my code, right? Let's just write some C# code here. Void foo. Oh, no, that was... Go back to that. Hang on. Go back. Right? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. So let's take in a title and a URL, and we could say JavaScript invoke void async. Go find this JavaScript method, share article, and pass in these two parameters. Done. So now, from .NET, we're calling into this JavaScript method. In fact, I can even go and say, let's make this async. Make it a task. Right? So now I can go over here and we can say await that. And it'll actually await if it was returning something, right? If it returned a value from it, right? I could say var foo equals that, right? And if it returned a value, well, it's let's get rid of the void there. Thank you. Right? So invoke async, we need to specify a value that comes back. So, I don't know. What if it's a bool that it returns? So now foo is going to return a boolean from JavaScript that I can work with. This isn't emitting some sort of a JavaScript echo statement. It's actually executing the JavaScript, waiting for it to come back, and going to continue working on your code from there. Awesome stuff. So, exactly 2 hours into the stream so you can find it easily. There you go, Surly. You have a feature to do a Blazor with BFF. Awesome. It is pretty painless. Oh, yeah. And there's documentation available out there. I'm not going to get into it because I don't have any JavaScript here to dive into. That from JavaScript, you can call into .NET. Okay? Think about that. From your JavaScript code, if there's some .NET that you want to execute, you want to have portable that you can bounce back and forth in, oh, yeah. That's possible as well. In fact, there's an entire library and configuration that capability out there that will allow you to do publish your .NET content as WebAssembly and bolt it onto your Angular, Vue, React applications, and it will run just the same. So you hired a temp with Blazor experience, and we have a thing we want to move to Blazor. Oh yeah, that sounds like fun. So let's dive in here. I was working on, let me zoom back out there, Fritz. Right, we got in a little tight on the code there. We don't need to be that zoomed in. We've been working on this idea of collections. And I started working on a collection edit page here. I even added a little style block up at the top. Because I started putting a list of articles here that you can choose to put into your article collection. So let's run this, show you where we are at this point, and I'm going to get your feedback as we build this out.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Where's that Junie Von Esch? Let her know that I've got the hat on that she sent over. So, right. There we go. All started up. Now this runs with .NET Aspire. So, let's see what we get here. Okay. And bring this over here. And this will start up. Is .NET Aspire an even different version? Nope. .NET Aspire is a series of tools that wrap your application to make it better. There we go. All loaded up. And if we log in, yes. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Admin. So, manage collections. There are no collections yet, but I have a create new button up here. And here's a list of all the articles. But here's the thing. Searching through that list of articles is a pain in the neck. You know? And I feel like I probably should show more in that collection of articles there. Like, right now I'm only showing 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, I know that guy. I know that guy. So, I want to add a little bit more information in here about what these are, when they were created. And I feel like I should probably make these a little bit taller. I thought it'd be taller. What was that? That was a noise. Okay. This. There we go. Much better. Height is 20. If I take that to 25, and we go back over here, right? It didn't make it taller. You were supposed to make it taller. No. No problem, Andreas. Right? Happy to explain and talk through it. Right? This dashboard is one of the tools that gets delivered for you when you start using the .NET Aspire resources, which is another project two new projects that you add into your solution that teaches it how you bootstrap and start up some of these services out here. Notably, though, my web service is down there at the bottom. There's so many components now that are part of Aspirify that I'm not going to zoom in and talk about all of them individually right now. But let's add a little bit more information into this block for these articles, and I feel like I'm showing the same block in both. You know, like yeah, here it is, article chooser for each, right? It's just article title. And I think I want to put below that, right? Like on another, do I put it as a span? I could probably do the LI as like a flex grid. Span of T. I like that smirking squiggly. Nice. Yes, integrations is what we call them now. Yes. Let's call this it's inside the chooser, and I'll call it do I want to put the date or do I want to put the author? Let's put the author. Right. Let's write article. There we go. Right. And I should probably put the date next to it. So let's just do that as another span. No, I'm gonna class equals chooser date oh, come on now. What the heck? Really? You're not going to give me... You're not going to give me... Right? Publish date, I thought was... Isn't that the thing? I think so. But I need to do a little bit of... display control there. So that's in article chooser LI. Right? So let's split this. And we'll do a little bit of work here. Article chooser. Yeah, these. Right? Well, I have classes on each one of these, so I could probably... if I did this display with a grid display, right, it's also going to affect the other one over here that isn't displaying all of those and has a remove button. Let's just call this available, or let's put a class on this, just a marker class. Right, class equals available. Right, and I think, is it F6? No. There's a function key that'll jump you between the panels. Nested CSS? What do you mean by nested CSS? So there's your first answer. I don't know what you're talking about, nested CSS. CSS nesting. Hang on, is that now... This used to be a SAS thing. When did this become available? How? I get it. It's the same syntax as SAS. It's supported on everything now. That's why I haven't used it, because can I use com? CSS nesting. So total usage 0.71. Started becoming available in beginning of 2024. That's why. Well, of course those two match. Safari, oh, forget Safari. Firefox not available. No. August 2023. The mobile browsers, September 2024. There's a start. September 3rd. Literally 2 days ago, it was available on Chrome for Android. Safari on iOS. Wow, it was available in December 2023. Still not available on Samsung Internet. Doesn't work on Opera Mini. It's not green all the way across. Firefox for Android just, what, 3 months ago? No, July, 2 months ago. So it's not green all the way across, so I don't want to use it because of the compatibility. So like, yes, it's on the major browsers, and it just got into Chrome on Android. Like, just. So building a public-facing website, I can't use it. So, but thank you. I didn't know that was a thing, so I've learned something today. Thank you, Andreas. Appreciate the share. But it's easy enough for me to just stick with the old school, going back to way back to 2023 ways of writing CSS. Thank you so much for the follow. All right, so I put available in there, so I guess I could do, right? And then that would help me with, well, no, I'm okay with that layout formatting. But I could, right, I could do dot article chooser, yes, that, dot available, right? And now I can say, well, I want it's the content of the LI inside of there. Right, so LI. And I'm going to want to do, I could do display. I want grid, right? Is it going to be grid or can I do... Yeah, I want grid because I'm going to provide columns here. Right? I want 2 columns. I'm going to get that. Thank you. Yeah, I want 2 columns. And I want the first item to span 2. Right, so I want to go title, author, and date next to each other on the lower row. So, yeah, move that around a little bit. CSS, grid. There's a grid syntax generator stuff that's out there that we can use. What are we working on? How you doing there? This is aspirify.net. This is a website that we've been building with .NET Aspire and Blazor as kind of a news hub. And we've been growing it. And we're adding a feature called content collections. Think playlists on YouTube, but as a collection of blog posts, podcasts, and the like. Thank you for the follow. CSS grid layout guide. It's not a layout guide, right? There's like a tool that will do this. That'll generate those. No, see, I don't want to learn. I just want to go do the formatting for me, darn it. No, I don't want to learn it. CSS grid, it's like a formatter. Yeah, there we go. Grid lay it out. Here we go. Let's do this. So columns, I only want 2 columns. I want 1 row. Yeah. And the grid template areas, right? I only want 2 rows. And area name, let's just call that title. Down, no, up there, like that. Title? No, I want it to span. So how do we get the first row to span? Right? What's that button do? No, I don't want another grid and send it. Oh gosh, no. Developers. Hey there, Johnny Dean. Hello. I guess that works, right? It's... no. So, title goes all the way across? And over here... Well, do I really want it as a grid? Or do I want to do, like... If I do display flex, right? CSS display flex generator. Flexbox generator. What's that look like? 1 item. Sure. I've got 3 items. Okay. No. So, do I do it that way, and do I put another... Right, I want to have 3 items. Oh boy. What if it's less? Oh boy. No. Yeah, go ahead, reset that. I don't know what I'm doing here. YouTube's not notifying you when I'm live? Oh no. It should be. Can I ask Copilot? That's not a bad idea. Let's go to chat.bing.com. Yay, look at that Copilot. Yeah, not that one. That one. Write CSS rules to generate a flex box that will handle a first row that contains just the title for an article and a second row that contains an author and a date field.
Sure. Here's how you can create a Flexbox layout with 2 rows. The first row for the article title and the second row for the author and date fields. /* container for the article */ dot article container. Display flex. Flex direction column. Gap 10px /* optional. Add space between rows */
Thanks.
slash.
You can stop talking.
* first row. Title * slash.
So it's saying display flex direction column, and then have the title and the article right next to it, like that. Okay, let's do that. Let's just... Right, so display flex direction. I don't know if we want 10 pixels, but let's see what that does. Like, we'll probably end up pulling back on that a little bit. So we'll paste that in here. Thank you. Let's make this like 3 pixels. Right. Get rid of that. Font size and the text decoration I'm okay with. Back over to here. So it had the first row. I'm okay with that. But we need to wrap the other 2 in this other div. Okay. So I'll just jump in here. And I'll paste that. Yes, I know. You're grouchy about that, aren't you? Aren't you, you rude thing? Thank you. And go ahead and format that. You're not going to format that. I see how this works. Okay. I guess that's all right. Okay. So flex 1 and on the title. Okay. And it's Doesn't have anything on the article meta. Okay. So that... So I could do something like, right? Available... No. Really? Really? Okay, whatever. So that'll put it on flexible. Okay, so I also need for the meta block there, right? Display flex on that, justify content, space between. I don't know if I want space between. We'll probably want something different on that. So that is article meta. So we'll do, yep. Hey. Wow. Let's see what that looks like. See what it looks like. Here, refresh. No. We're gonna need to rebuild. Bummer. And failed. Can it use lambda expression to intended delegate blah 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 blah? It's right there. Oh, tartar sauce. Nope, wrong key. Well, that explains a little bit. Still doesn't like that article. Steamy Punk God. Hello, welcome. Yes, it is. That looks right. It's totally C#. What are you talking about? Absolutely C#. Don't tell me. You're not going to... You pain in my neck. Right? No. Really? This... It's just published. Whatever. But still, why isn't it picking that up? Come on now, build. Hey, yes, I do pop up in Junie Von Esch streams. We've been playing a bit of Overwatch recently. Popping up over there, and I drop in on her streams every now and again. Gotta support my friends, you know? So here we go, back into the site. Doing the thing. How you doing, Vendicious? So, failing's illegal. Why not using Windows Copilot app? Because I don't want to dox myself. Right? If I bring up the Windows Copilot app, it's going to show you all the things that I've copiloted in the recent how long. So, there we go. Don't like how it formatted the publish date, and I don't want the space between, so let's let's do this as a to short date. Right. And back over to here. Please tell me. No. No. Really? No. Okay. I also want to clean up that space in between, so let's bring up DevTools, click into these. It's actually on that. Show me the style rules. Rules. There are certain rules one must follow, not space between. Let's choose something else. Really? You're not going to let me change that? Thank you. And the cool thing is, as I bounce around here, I think I do want, like, normal. You know, it starts probably good. And then just put some space in between them. Wasn't there a gap that we can put on this also? Right? And can we do like 3 pixels? Can we do like 2 EM? That might be a little much. Is like 1.5 EM, is that enough? What do you think? That's not bad. Not bad. Alright, so let's change justify content to start. Right, that's way up here somewhere. Yeah, here. And, yeah, that's right. And we added gap. And I added what? What was it? 1.5 EM, something like that. Now I gotta rerun it. How do you tell Blazor to not update an HTML element? What do you mean by not update? Help me out with that. Imran on YouTube. Really? I've got to do a... Like... Is it... date time? And it's not giving me the syntax highlighting on this. That makes me feel bad. Makes me feel bad. Still failed. Really? Really? No, you're not going to give me... No. Come on now. What am I missing? Look, and what is with the syntax highlighting here? Reopen that. Oh, come on now. Okay, there it's at least trying to do this, the syntax highlight. So, no. Really? There we go. Okay. I want the short. I mean, I can do just 2 string, but I thought there was 2 short. Yeah. 2 short date string. That's what I want. That's the one that I wanted. So, screaming at your own Python shenanigans because you were terrible at commenting? Oh, that's the worst. Hey, there's that Junie Von Esch. Hello. Yeah. So here we go. That explains why I didn't rebuild and push the thing out. And I don't like doing the 2-string with the formatting when I can use the shortcut method that specifies and pushes all that through for us. Okay, admin, man. Be nice if it just jumped through to these things. Manage, collections. Alright, create new. That's better. That's better. Now, I still want to be able to do some sort of a search on here to be able to filter and find these. Because right now they're ordered by name. They're ordered by the title. So I would like to put a filter over here so that I can go find these things. And then I want to be able to just double click and have it jump and put it over here on the selected articles that are part of this collection. So let's start with adding a filter next to this available articles up here. Well, that's not going to work. Remind me to reschedule the eye doctor appointment. Okay. Like, oops. It's scheduled for a time when I'm out of town now. So I want to put them right next to each other as 2 items here. So I could do this as a div to put a text box right next to this and do that same display flex trick, right? Really? Let's do this with a style first. And we'll slowly build this out. Yep, display flex, right? Right flex direction. And I want it as columns. Don't mind if I do. Thank you. And I want to, what was it? Justify content. Space between. I think that's what I want. Yeah. Okay. No! Go back. Go back. Where was I? Okay, cool. So go here. Right? No, I don't want... no, I'm not stopping debugging. Because next I'm going to put a text box. Right? Yep, input type text. Oh, jeez. Yeah, something like that. But we're going to do a bind on this thing. So that as you type, it'll search the collection of stuff that's in there. Right? Yeah, bind value. Oh shoot. I'm not used to the layers here. I haven't done as much coding with this. Give me 1 second, I'll get back to your message there. We're going to bind this to, let's call this like available article filter, not Fitler, filter. Yeah, something like that. And I want to, right, I want to bind events. Yeah. Isn't it key press? Oh, no. To the question about the issues with the books at West Virginia, looks like it's getting worse. Yeah. Good option. Could be fun. What do we got? Oh, drag and drop. Actually, this is something that I want to do for my tag. Yeah, the making elements draggable. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want on change. I want like on key press, because on change it will it's like when you tab out of it. Bind : event. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I called it go back over there. And we need to go somewhere down here and add that. Right? It doesn't need, it just needs to be a string. Right? Sure, let's, right, get, set, cool, and go to the end of this, and we'll say equals, yeah, equals string empty. Wow, I was typing so much better yesterday with the keyboard, and I'm just not there right now. So it's going to set that value, but each time that that updates, I want to refresh. Fritz Bits looks like the Rust logo. It is a little bit. It is a little bit. It's an orange gear. So, so on parameter set, it does that get by slug. This collection, but it's all articles. Available article, yeah, all articles. Right there on initialized. So what if I wrap that so it does the filter automatically in the get? Right? Right, so if we did private, I enumerable article, right? If we did that, do that one as the enumerable. Come on, Fritz. Right. Then I can change this around here. Right. Oh, man. Go back. Right. Yeah, wrong key. No. And we can change this up. Right. So this now becomes return. It's not just going to be all articles. E. What's the name of the filter? Available article filter. So we can say string is null or empty. Available article filter, right? So if it is null or empty, right? I love using the ternaries for this. Then we're just going to return do I want to do an order by? What the heck was that? I'm going to do order by descending. Right? Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to say, really? Where is that coming from? And why app? A.title, right, contains, where'd it go? Why is available article filter? Right, so that's the outside that contains, that's the where, and we'll put that same order by descending on here. Order by descending. A dot published datetime. That's the end of that. Yeah, I think that's it. Tab that over just to make it look nice. I think that works. Right? Yes, stop debugging. Build it. How come I don't do the empty collection? Because I'm doing an IEnumerable and it doesn't know what that type is. Oh, yeah, I forgot it. I need to declare what set does. Sure. Right. Yeah, that was right. Yep, that's what I want. It's this one. Sure. Go ahead, build. Let's see what this looks like. No, it doesn't. I've done that a lot, and it doesn't work. Because it can't go... Oh, jeez. What do you mean namespace? Get, that closes that. What the heck happened there? What the heck did I break? It's like one of the formatting. There's an, yeah, there. What's that? What the heck? Dude. Dude. Let's copy this. Like, one of the times I did formatting and it just... That's right. And it just wiped out. Missing a semi somewhere. Yeah, that's fine. Developers. Hey there, thank you for the follow. Come on now. Good. So I have my keyboard set up so that here I have my Super Visual Studio key. So when I tap it, it builds. When I tap and hold, it builds the entire solution. Double tap, I forget what that one is. But the double tap and hold does the F5 startup. So it puts me into debug mode right away. Hey there. You have the same keyboard manager? I'm still getting used to the keyboard because, right, things are just moved around and I'm not used to this layout. So, and quite frankly, typing in front of a live audience is a little nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. Where did it go? Where'd my content go, darn it? What did I do? Div style, display flex, and all that. Like, it's not showing that text box at all. There's supposed to be a text box here, and that's gone. What'd I do? No, Control Shift C is supposed to comment that, right? Advanced. Control // Toggle block comment, Control Shift // All right. I don't remember that. So that didn't comment. No. Control // No. I don't know why. I'll do this the old-fashioned way. Yep, go to the end of the line and asterisk that. And we'll get rid of... Right. This. And it's down through right about here, which is that. Right, and tell me you're going to hot reload that. It sure looks like it's going to try. Yeah, let's check the browser console and see if there's anything down there. You're trying to learn React? Don't have any tips. Neat trick. So you're not going to tell me what the error was. Oh, it's over here. String contains an invalid character. Available article filter is string empty. So it should be that. No, I'm not going to do detailed errors. No. Right, let's just nip this right there. Right? I think I got to rebuild. Something's going on there. What's been hard to understand about React? I'm not a React developer, but I'm curious what's been hard to understand. Like, and React is a vast, vast ecosystem that moves quickly with folks that have no allegiance to maintaining and keeping things compatible with the current version of React. All right, so back over here. Come on. So I hid that. So this is properly showing. So let's go back up here and make this appear again. Right? And it sure looks like hot reload should have kicked in. But I don't think it is. Line 108. Oh. Yeah, there we go. No, it's not even trying to hot reload. I think it's those CSS files that are too big. See if we can get that. React is a dumpster fire when they killed Create React App. Your biggest challenge with React is knowing which packages to use for state management. Yeah, the ecosystem is vast. That's one of the great benefits of it. However, if you don't have like an ecosystem shaman that is going to tell you, here are the pieces that fit together well. These are good Lego pieces that for this version of React snap together and work properly and weld together with good support. You can get lost. You can get really lost. And then you end up fighting version mismatches of dependencies that just become, there it is. Yeah, it is. It's Framework Wars. Hey, Caparino. Hello. It is totally Framework Wars. That input box isn't even showing here. Like, what? Right, if I change that to... No. And it's still... The input box is completely going there. I don't get it. No, it's not going to reload. I need to push the button. Yeah, the JavaScript Framework Wars. Kind of sounds like React is approaching what makes Perl and Ruby disliked. Too many ways to do something, and standard and opinionated guideline, a stack of things that work well together. Right? What is a good stack, a good collection of things that work well together that are going to make you successful? And that was some of the thinking that led to what makes up .NET Aspire. Right? It made up those initial pillars for .NET Aspire development. Like, bang. Yeah, Lego pieces that snap together and work together well here. It's like the pre-render kicks in and removes it. Right? Like, I think I did it over here. Yeah. Let's just grab that and put it on the collection here. Wait a sec. Yeah, it's right there. Right, turn off the pre-render. And changing that's going to force it. We'll take a look at the console next time this boots up. So, Vue maps well for folks who liked Angular 1, React for lazy folks who don't want to do Angular 2, Angular 2, and later for folks who think, hang on, who think they're doing enterprise development. Yeah. Yeah. I hear that. I definitely hear that. Come on, load up here. Let's go. Back into admin. Loading. There we go. Manage collections. Create new. Oh, that's great. Now it's not showing anything. Are you kidding? What's in the log over here? String contains an invalid error, an invalid character. Change this. Yeah, that's not going to hot reload over here. Yeah, even though we pushed the button. I have a sneaky suspicion. I don't know. I'll let that through. Let's put a breakpoint on this. Let's see what it is crashing on here, what it doesn't like. Because we're so close to being done this. Yep, there it is, loaded up. Handle the request already. There it goes. Collections, create new. Okay. Nothing. Nothing. And this terrible error message. String contains an invalid character and it won't tell me where. So, okay. Right, if we just have this return, oh, my finger's under. All articles, space, comment that out. Right? Yeah, I think it's the size of the CSS that Kendo UI is using here. It's just nuking me on the reload. I'm not sure which string it is. There's several strings that it's iterating through. Right? If it could tell me which string it was, I could narrow it down and figure it out. But it's not sharing that information. Right, there we go. There's that. Come on. What? Stop it. Oh, crumbs. Oh, boy. I did something bad. I've angered it. Oh, boy. So the backspace key and the Control S macro key on the keyboard are mapped to the same physical key on different layers. No, nothing. Same issue. String contains an invalid character. Okay, so it's not looking at... just do bind then. And then I've got to rebuild. Something... I don't know which part is throwing the error. It's not telling me. Right? That's just it. And I think it's one of these because it yanks that entire block of the page. Right? And when I had that text box removed, it worked. The border shadow? All right. Manage collections. Create new. Okay. But now that entire div that appears below it doesn't show at all. Right? It's not formatting this thing at all. What the heck? Interactive server. Oh, yeah, the stack of them. Yeah, I'm using bind with bind event. I don't want to search in the current project. I want to search in the current document. There it is. Here we go. Okay. We're getting somewhere. So now let's see if we can wire back up the collection here, right? All articles. Yeah. Give that a shot now. All right. And then we can wire up the add event to this. Dear Lord, the error message there, right? Really threw me for a loop, and the way that it was rendering and completely removed those elements because of that bind event. So down here and Collections, create new. Right, so if we start searching for key cloak, yeah, it didn't apply. The bind event. Where is it? Right here. Let's change that to won't change. Try it again. The challenge with the Blazor error messages are there are so many things that are rendering and being pushed, and trying to find where exactly it's referring to is really hard. You haven't been able to log into Amazon for like 3 days? Error dog pictures. Why didn't that start? Go start. Go do the thing. Let's see what we get. Come on now. Jump through this. So, we recorded yesterday. I'll tell you, we recorded yesterday. Yeah, we need a hammer. Darn Skippy, we need a hammer. We recorded Blazor Puzzle for this week. So that podcast will be available on Friday. Of course, blazorpuzzle.com. Let's see how fast I can type that. There you go. So that's the podcast I record with Carl Franklin. Okay, that worked. Yeah, there's the community stand-ups, right? And it is case sensitive. But it's on the on change is when it's triggering. Because I set it to on change. I thought it was... Well, I know where we can look to find that. Let's go to github.com.net presentations Blazor-workshop. Yeah, I'm typing faster. Look at that. And in this is the old version. There is a customization. Yeah. On input. Let's change it to on input. Right? There it goes. Give that a shot. Visual Studio developers did a great job. They're people like us. They do. Yep. Yeah, the default is on change. So when you leave the box, it'll rebind. I want it to on change when you type. The max path problem. They've been working on that for years. Like, we thought we had that fixed in NuGet. When I was working on NuGet back in 2015, we thought we had that fixed. Oof. I don't want to just do contains here. Right, I think, isn't there a... Right? Contains. That's not going to give me the syntax highlighting. Right, but I want it to do the case insensitive lookup. And since I'm doing this in memory for that content, it's like, who cares? Big deal. Right? So if I search for key cloak, look at that. That's what I was looking for. Right? There we go. Right? Nice. All right. I need to do the case insensitive. Make that case insensitive. I thought the string contains had a second argument. Come on now. Right? Right, so you could do something like, yeah, that. Yeah, like that. Right? String comparison. Really? Like, why isn't... It's like invariant. No. Ignore case or something like that. Why am I'm completely blanking on this because I normally just select it in the drop down, but the IntelliSense isn't remaining. No, ignore is different. Contains will do this. One second here.
Developers.
Hey there, thank you for the follow. No. And then go reopen that. That one. Yeah. Right now it's got it there. No, that's not what I wanted. Thank you. Invariant culture, ignore case. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. So now it should pick up and run. Yeah, this is the latest Visual Studio. Copilot is... But Copilot hasn't worked while debugging. Totally, I absolutely have that problem, Skylex. But what I'm also running into is Copilot is breaking regular IntelliSense, is what it looks like. It's what it looks like. And that's really been a problem for me. So, all right. So let's bring this over here. Come on. Back into the website. Admin. Collections. Create new. So now in here, if I start typing ASP, helps if you type ASP.net. Now it does include and filter it, even though it doesn't match the case. Nice. Okay. I don't like how tall that box is. I don't. But I do like... Right, that absolutely works. Right, there's Let's Learn.net Aspire, some of these things. Okay. So that worked. Oh, excuse me. Let's commit what we've got right now. Right? Yeah. It's just that one page. It's just that one page. All right. -am space completed available articles lookup. No. Git push. There we go. All right. I want to double click on an article and have it jump over to the other side, and then I need to be able to order stuff on the other side also. So moving there's a reorder feature, and there's also a add to the other side. And I want to do it with just a double click on the item. So here, can we do add on? Yeah, double click. There it is. Are you kidding? Yes. Yes, that's like exactly what I want to do. This collection, article slugs is an IEnumerable F-type string. Let's go find that and see if we can do something about this. It's a new list of type string inside that. Let's make this, well, let's, what do you say we just add a method here, right? We can add a method. Public void, yeah. Like that. Then we can also do remove. Yeah, like that. So then I can go back over here. Right, we can say, delete that. No. There they are. Add article. Ta-da. Was it the full article or just the slug? Just the slug. So, yeah, like that. Cool. And will it refresh that list then? I think we need to also put a where in here so that it's so that it excludes the list of slugs that are already in there. Yeah, syntax highlighting in IntelliSense and Visual Studio is right. There's a different level of things you have to remember at that point. Like, I don't remember some of those things because I don't need to. I can focus instead on what my application does and not the minutia of the language. Like, I know enough to go find the thing and just auto-complete it. Like, does that make me a less effective developer? No. I know how to use my tools better. So, right, so I think I want to put, yeah, I think I want to put except in here. No, I said just A. Oh, man. Except... No, it's got to be except by. Right, there's a syntax here. So the collection... no. The second, and then the comparer between them. This syntax is so confusing, and I keep running into this problem. So the second collection is going to be, where is it? It's going to be this collection. Give me space here. Article slugs. Think that's... I don't think that's it. I don't think. Yeah. Right, because so the key for each element, yeah, but no, I guess that'll work. So, and then I've got to do the same thing in here with that same except by. Yeah. This collection, article slugs, comma, A, no. A dot slug. Yeah. Give me an extra space in there. Just to make it warm and fuzzy. See what we get. You tried out Pair AI, which is completion to Cursor IDE. Blazingly fast, but you dislike it. So tempted to pay for it. The idea of having a whole text block with data that could be used in a form, and then just being able to pull the data out. Yeah, that's one of the things that Steve Sanderson showed about his smart components concept. Yeah, it's a really, really cool feature to help do that. And that's where I think the smaller Phi 3 model is going to be effective. You don't need to go to the big large language model to do that. That gets kind of carried away. So now in here, right, if I double click one of these, oh man. Okay, this collection, article slugs, yeah. Object reference not, you're not showing me anything here. Which object is not an instance of an object? Article slugs is count 0. What? We just updated it. Oh. We should two-array these. Hang on. No, do it as a two list. And right, get it to calculate it and pitch it out there. I don't care that it takes a half second or something like that. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do two array on that. So it forces it back into a calculated enumerable. That was all articles in the first or default. Yeah. All articles should still be okay. That should be all right. Because that's going against the filtered list. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's reaching in, okay, hang on. Maybe you're right. This should probably go into underscore. So it gets the full, so it looks at the full collection, not the filtered collection. Yeah. Yeah. Because they're all sitting there in memory. You're right, Wasabi Dev. I think you're right. And then we should have a little bit more detail of what's happening here. And we're going to need a remove button and a little grabber so we can move things into the right order here. And that's where I think some of that drag and drop feature that was mentioned earlier, we can add that. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Steve Sanderson proposed and showed that capability off for a Blazor feature. There we go. Redid the sort. It wasn't sorted in that order when it was first presented. Right? Interesting. Let's put some carriage returns in here. They're both ordering by the date time, but it didn't bind in that order first. This we can remove. And yeah, we'll change that in a second. So this did a get all here and put it into... If we force that sort up front here, right? Order by descending, and we said article published, date time. Yeah, do something like that. See what we get. The stop and rebuild has been kind of rough with how things are loaded in here with .NET Aspire. The reload, the restart is just, it's been slow, and I know that that's a feature that they're working on with a dramatic improvement coming. Here we go. Right, admin, collections, create new. There we go. Now they're in the right order. Yeah. Right? ASP.NET implement 10 days of Aspire. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. The remove is just a big old text block there. But we can turn that into an X, and I want to put a little grippy right next to it so I can drag these and put them in the order that I want. So they're not just in the first one that we added over there order. Yeah, remove works. Look at that. But I've moved that code for remove into the actual article, right? Where'd it go? We did that with the double click. So we should be able to say this collection remove article slug. And we'll get the same, right? This collection dot. Yep. And now over here, we can take this, yank that. Yeah. Okay. And we can commit those changes as well. Yeah. Completed add and remove article feature. Cool. Next step, we gotta order some things. We gotta fix the remove button. I'd like there to be like an X for remove and a little grippy so that we can drag things into the right order. Yeah, there we go. Cool. But I'm about out of time here. So we've committed the changes. Ordering and getting that to work is going to be next steps. We've already done the collection presentation page, but we'll wire up, we'll hard code some places for collections to appear down here in the sidebar, and we'll also add some up on the top and kind of force those as menu items, like official documentation or right, like I've already got the new and popular block here that has some of the things that folks are really interested and have been reading. But we'll add like official documentation. Key cloak looks like a very popular topic. Right, if we look through at our admin panel here, right, using key cloak in .NET Aspire is easily the #1 article that folks are visiting. So, right, we can have a security, right, authorization collection that we can load up with that content. we can put together another collection of just podcasts that folks have been talking about, .NET Aspire, so on and so forth, and have these collections out there. And I want to make sure that these are kind of cross-cutting things, because one of the next features, probably the next feature we'll add, will be tags. So we can have a tag for podcasts, have a tag for Geekloak is probably a tag, and so on and so forth, and click into those tags and see just that block of content. So, very cool. Let's head back over here and let's wrap things up. Stop the music. We don't need the music over there. Let's wrap things up and get in here. Over on YouTube, Target Code says, I watched all the C# in the Cards videos. I need to get back into the swing of C# after a few months. I found each video interesting. That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that feedback. I have scripts and contents for more of those videos. It just takes a long time to build and produce them, and I need to get back into producing at least one a week and getting them rolling again, because I've got a ton of great content to roll in there. I have a list of episodes of Visual Studio tips and tricks that I recorded the first one about doing bookmarks on TikTok, and it's my most viewed TikTok. So I should do more of those. We'll get to stuff like that. But thank you. I really appreciate that. And I need to get into the swing and the pace of generating that content. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun writing code with you here today. Folks that are watching on YouTube, I've got a bunch of other videos out here that you can check out. You can get involved in. Check them out. They're down below or over here, depending on which what you're using here. Let me get you connected with... You know what? I'm going to send you over to our buddy Code Rushed, who's building some more Visual Studio tools live on his channel. So let's do the raid to, Code Rushed. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great fun. I will see you. I won't be streaming next week because I'm going to be at the Dev Intersection Conference. Maybe I can jump in. We'll see. Maybe we can jump in just at a random time. I might be able to stream on Monday. I have off on Monday. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we can do. Have a fantastic weekend, wherever you might be doing. But I'll see you soon. Probably in 2 weeks, we'll be back here live streaming and writing code together, all right? Have a fantastic rest of your day. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.